Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I am doing well, thank you.
I'd be doing better if I didn't have to go to work
Well,
again.
Then you'd be bored at home doing that.
That's true.
Or you'd be at home doing laundry or cleaning
Yep.
or something.
I'd be working, I'm sure. Yep. That is the truth.
It's just unavoidable sometimes.
Yep. I think it's unavoidable all the time. The weekends are not long enough, and then it starts right over again. And I think my phone goes off all the time. So it doesn't matter. I can't escape work, and then doing stuff at home. So
So where are we going to work here?
On-call plumbing, heating, and air.
Call. Okay.
Yes. I'm a chaos coordinator.
I like that.
It's either that or, as we like to put it, daycare worker, because
Daycare.
Yep.
That's funny.
Dealing with, I say grown men that just don't want to work. I get it. But while they get to take half days or, sure, we'll let you go a little bit early. We're in the office usually until about 6.
Okay, so how many dispatchers do you guys have?
Well, technically, if we all, I say, stayed in our lane and did as we are supposed to, there is only one dispatcher. We are very small.
Okay.
However, I've been there 5 years. The other lady's been there 11.
Okay.
And then we have one that just started probably 6 months ago, and we each have our own roles and things, but we all kind of know each other's jobs, and we share one big office, and so
help each other out when needed.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
teamwork makes the dream work.
Well, it's inevitable. Those phones ring, and I think sometimes it's more technicians than it is customers, but I am the lucky one that gets to be customer service representative, and so anytime that phone does not say, one of the technicians is calling, then I get to answer. And
okay.
Yeah, it's
So when you answer, is it more of people that are calling for trouble with their plumbing and they need help? Or,
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's not calling to say, hey, your technician's a jerk and he's.
Oh no, I get those too.
You get those?
I get those too. We actually got one yesterday. It was a shock because we had some gentleman call in, and he was starting off with, I'm riding behind your technician, and I'm thinking, oh boy,
And he's driving like an idiot.
Yeah, nope. Believe it or not, it was not. It was a, very courteous and, just mindful of other drivers, and I was,
What?
don't hear that one often.
I say, wait, what?
Nope.
Somebody's giving you positive feedback?
Yep, and it's not often, but there are a select few. We have this one gentleman, and he had a string of issues with his HVAC system, and I mean, it seemed like we were talking to him every day. And I have never met this man in my life, but I would love to, because he is just, I mean, he was so kind about it, and it wasn't anything our fault. It wasn't, anything we could have avoided, but finally got him all set straight. And then the next morning, there was a phone call. I was like, oh my gosh, nobody wanted to answer it, but I answered, and he was just calling to tell us to have a great day. And he does that every so often. And just kind of checks in on all of us. And
Interesting.
yeah, and we have certain people, I mean, with being there 5 years, there's certain people that know me by name.
Okay.
And that's all they know me by, because I've never met them before, but
right.
They'll always want to talk to me, or they'll have their favorite person to speak to. And sure enough, I'll get caught up on the phone with some people. And
okay, I gotta ask now. The people, like the gentleman who called just to say they have a great day, now he's got to be over 65, right?
I would imagine so. I really don't know, though. Honestly, no.
His voice sound like he's old.
He does. But
I can't see anybody other than
I know
an old person doing that, because Everybody else is just too busy.
I know. Well, the generation now is a lot different, so.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a whole other subject matter.
I know. That's something I have to laugh at because I myself am 40, and the other lady is 44. And then the girl that just started not too long ago, she's, I think, 27, 28.
Okay, yeah.
And some of the things that, we say, she just looks at us like we are crazy. And like we were talking the other day about high school, and I said something about the payphone that we used to have.
Yeah.
And she just she
what?
looked like completely just bewildered. Like, oh my gosh.
Life before cell phones.
Oh yeah. Yep. And so,
in my opinion, well, I mean, it comes in great for like stuff like this, right?
Oh yeah,
There's a computer in your hand.
I was already thinking that actually earlier today because I was like, oh my gosh, my phone's running slow, and then I was like, well, I might need to get a new one. And then I was like, what do I do if I don't have it?
Yeah.
Like, you can't function anymore.
Right.
And
it's a totally different world for sure. Yeah.
I remember not having a cell phone.
Oh yeah.
And I actually, that's something we were talking about because the one girl, she's just like, oh, I've had a phone all through high school, and I'm like, well, I didn't. I remember when I turned 18 and I had to go put money like quite a bit down to establish credit.
Right.
And I was like, I was 18 with a cell phone, and I thought I was like, that was great. And I said, I remember before that, if I went out somewhere, my father would make me take the bag phone. Yeah. Wow. I was like, I mean. We
didn't have bag phones even when I was little.
Oh yeah, like.
I had to carry a dime,
Yep. I remember that, my father actually, for a little bit, he got me a beeper. And I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever. Like, I mean, if I need help, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I still have to get to a phone. Yeah, it just, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great asset for sure.
No, it is.
But it's also a great detriment.
It is, yes.
As well, too.
It was one thing, I have 3 children, and my oldest, he's 20 now, but I got him, his father and I, we decided we were going to get him a phone pretty young. I mean, he had some issues and different things, and he was like very, very just, I don't know, I can't even describe it. The doctors thought he had a brain tumor, honestly. Like, we went through this and that. There's nothing wrong with him. Everything's fine. But he was never happy. He was just this kid that always kept to himself, and, it just didn't seem like the typical, like, 8-year-old kid, that there, should be. So we decided we'd get him a phone. And, I mean, when I say I had that thing on lockdown, it was, it was like, the Apple ID we shared, and I mean, every night it came back to me, and I could look through it and, charged it for him for the next day. And it was never like, okay, we're handing it to you just because.
Right. You can call mom, you can call dad, maybe grandma, grandpa.
Yep. There were a lot of rules with it, but I'm telling you, that probably had to be the best thing that we ever did for him, because if anytime punishment of any kind was just give me the phone, and you can't have the phone for however long. And it actually got him like into certain things, and it got him branching out, like his little friends and things he was able to talk to like that way.
Okay.
And so he was better writing back and forth, and now he's just a typical 20-year-old kid that he's a certified personal trainer.
Okay.
So yep, and he's done really well for himself. So it's just it was something that he needed. I think was something of his own.
Right.
And yeah, it was a great tool for just keeping him in check and everything. So, and then my daughter, she's only 13, but she makes videos. Now, none of them are published anywhere, so nobody can see them, but family can see them. And yep, we can share the link and things like that. And the things that she comes up with, I mean, I actually was like in school basically for editing, like video editing and such.
Right.
and I didn't finish. I decided to have, a family instead. But I'm like, well, she's living out, my dream of all this stuff because, yeah, it's
Being
amazing.
creative, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's really neat to see.
It's amazing that you can do that with a phone now.
Oh, yeah.
I
I can only imagine what would happen if I had that when I was that age, because we had, the gigantic, say, Channel 10, news, camera, recorder, and we'd set it up and
put it on your shoulder.
Oh, yeah. But, we'd set that up, and I had friends that would come over and we'd record stuff, and then we'd have to try to put it together, edit it. And, I was doing that when I was a teenager, and, now they just take their phone and they can do it and add all these different effects. And
yeah, it is amazing what can be done with a phone now.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, it probably would get very interesting.
Well, the very interesting stuff happens at night.
Yeah.
I don't work nights.
Yeah, no. I Uber every day back and forth to work. I am divorced now, and I've decided to attempt. Thank you.
I'll give you that. You may want to take a look at that.
Yeah, of course.
You know what a surge is, right?
I sure do. I actually saw that earlier this morning.
Yeah, no surge pricing.
Okay, yeah.
This new company. I'm not sure what it would charge you from here to there. But,
Okay.
For sure, during the peak hours, it'll save you money.
Yeah. No, I unfortunately my car decided to give out on me, and after a divorce, I've been divorced 7 years now. Everything went off of my credit that was bad, but now there's no credit.
Okay.
And that's worse. So.
I understand that.
Yep, and I am slowly building it back up, but I had to learn to, I guess, support myself completely, which I have. I have my ups and downs, but I'm still making it. And right now I'm just kind of caught in this everlasting loop, it seems, of not being able to save for a car because I'm paying to go back and forth every day.
Right.
And one morning it wanted to charge me $80.
Yeah, that's insane.
Oh, it was. I about had a mental breakdown that morning. I called my boss and I was like, can I stay home?
Yeah,
and
I've heard of that many times.
Yeah.
People call out because it's like, going to take
yeah, it
most
is
of my income for the day.
It has, and I've called out, I'm salary, so I also am able to pretty much work from home for a lot of what I do. So, I may not be there to answer the phone, but I do an awful lot more. And so, I have my stuff I had to take home with me last night. I'm in charge of our HVAC preventative maintenance.
Okay.
And so I get to do all of that.
Scheduling for that.
Oh, yes. And I also, we have a marketing team that is fairly new to us, but I still do all of our email reminders and things. So that's something I enjoy doing. Is I was actually going to go into advertising before, yeah, but I've done a little bit of everything. It's one of those things. I keep telling them up here. I'm like, eventually I'm going to get bored. You gotta keep it different. So I've been here 5 years, but I've been doing plumbing I'm right at about 10 years, I guess, now.
Oh, really?
Yep. And I worked with one other company prior, and I enjoy it. I really do. So the HVAC stuff is, I say, new to me within the last 5, but I'm caught on, and I'm kind of in charge of those guys. So
right.
Yeah. They don't pay me to be in charge of them. Yeah. But it's not bad. And we're really small. We have.
I don't think you guys are that small. How many trucks you guys run?
We actually have 7 technicians.
7 technicians.
That's it. Okay. We have 4 plumbers and then 3 HVAC. So when people start, it's so great because we'll get phone calls and they'll ask, "Are you hiring for your install crew?" It's like, No, because we don't have an install crew. Our guys do it all. Like,
Okay.
and you know, one of the things that they say is like, we're not trained salesmen. That's true, because our guys are, you know, they're going to come out. They're going to be the ones to install your new system. They're going to be the ones that come out when something's wrong.
Right.
And most HVAC technicians, that's unheard of.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
In another life, I
Yeah.
worked for an HVAC company.
Okay.
And they had technicians that were repair technicians, and then they had the install guys.
Yep. And apparently, I just fail to believe this, but like a lot of install people are not, you know, technicians, and it's like, but don't you have to know like how to install it to know what would be wrong with it? And it baffles me. But no, I mean, it's a hard, I guess, trade to keep the, you know, technicians. Like, that's probably got to be the biggest turnaround for us. But we have a pretty good group right now, and I think we are actually adding on, and I think we're going to be moving soon.
Oh, really?
Yep. I think we're going to be going more towards Irmo. I'm not really sure just yet. They haven't quite told us, but yep, the lovely, you know, transportation department or whatever, SCDOT, they're taking out our entire front row of parking.
Oh, really?
Yes, they're widening this to 4 lanes, which is that is unheard of to me, because I don't know how it's going to happen all the way down. But yep, you can turn in. Yep, right here. Yeah. But this entire front row of parking, like, they've already come in and marked before, and
It's it, eminent domain, huh?
yeah. But I mean, you think about that all the way down.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're saying that they're doing, you know, the widening all the way to Harbison. I'm just like, okay, well, I don't go to Harbison that much.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you,
Well,
and you
absolutely.
have a great day.
You do the same.